Dear Diary, today is a good day because Spurs have won a game. They won a game. Can't believe it. At home, semi-final, first leg. I'm putting the asterisk there on the first leg. But Spurs actually won a game, and I had forgotten what it felt like to wake up in the morning with a W. I forgot what that felt like, to get out of bed and be like, Spurs actually won last night. Incredible feeling, incredible scenes. Just talking about last night, right? Asking Archie Gray, who has been sensational since coming into Spurs. He has played centre back, left back, right back. This is a guy that is 18 years old. He's a midfielder. He has often, more often than not actually, looked better than Dragusin, who's been right there beside him, who is an out-and-out centre-back. He has been so classy, so good on the ball. He's just got so much potential, and I'm so thrilled that we signed him. And I've said in the summer, do I think that was enough for Spurs? Do I think signing Bergvall or Archie Gray was enough? Would I have liked to have players that could come in and they're straight away and allow, time for Archie or Lucas Bergvall to kind of embed themselves in the side? And I think that was probably the plan. Obviously, the injuries have sped that up a bit. But I feel like these are two players in Gray and Bergvall that when everyone is back fit, I'm not dropping them out the team. They don't deserve to be dropped out. And I realised last night that Spurs have the makings of a brilliant spine. If you look at Mickey van der Ven, Kinski again, first game, come in, that's big balls, big balls to come in. You've had one training session, been at the club for 3 days, and you're playing, and a performance like he did, so good, so good in your first start for the club. So let's put him in there, I guess, as well. I mean, time will tell. We might see that he's maybe not as good as he was, or we might see that he's better. But in terms of distribution, really good. Shot stopping looked decent as well. It's going to be a big fight out between him and Vicario for first place, because I don't believe that Vicario has nailed that number one spot down. Over Fraser Forster, he probably did. But either way, he comes into the side. Then you've got Archie Gray, who, of course, will be in midfield at some point with Lucas Bergvall. Mickey van der Ven as well. So there we go. You've got a good little spine there. Then you move into kind of the attacking areas of the pitch. Kulusevski, who is having an unbelievable season. Unbelievable system in that new 10 role. Him in there as well. And then you've got Dom Solanke, who I hold my hands up. I was not particularly impressed with the signing. I thought it was a lot of money. Obviously, you add on the 20 million that's English tax. 40 to 50 mil would probably have been about fair for him. But he is the perfect signing. I wanted Ivan Toney. I thought it gave us something different aerially as well. But in terms of the way that Spurs play, the way that Spurs build, he drops deep, picks the ball up. He's super strong, and obviously can finish as well. And I feel like I'm really happy with Dom Solanke, because everyone likes to get straight on his back about things early on, as did I. So in terms of the spine of the team, I see there is hope, there is progress there. And of course, if it hadn't been for the injuries, then I don't feel like Archie Gray or Bergvall would have got half as many minutes as they have. We would have just seen them in the Cups or Europe. But what I'm seeing and what I've seen of them so far, stepping up, so much adversity going against Spurs as well, with all the injuries, all the setbacks. I'm so proud. I'm so proud of those signings, and I cannot wait to see Archie in his natural position and then flourish. Also want to say about Jed Spence, because this guy has been held captive for such a long time. Captive by Conte, captive by Ange. He's finally free, and he is a baller. Locked up Salah silly last night. Literally back pocket. Check him this morning, because you'll find Mo Salah there. Left back, he's playing. He's a right back. He's played at centre-back as well for us. Good player. So I have a look at Spurs and I see that there are good young players coming through that are still buying into what Ange is selling. And this is why I'm still running up the M1. I'm still there. I'm still running up the M1 for Ange. Until the wheels fall off, I will back him. And I know people might say, well, that's silly because you've lost 10 times in the league. But there's been a lot of adversity around Spurs. A lot going on. Lots of injuries, lots of games that Spurs were in, and, individual errors have cost us. And I think that that's probably where Spurs have to work on, because I can't pin those things on Ange. I can't pin, Sarr and Basuma giving away silly penalties against Chelsea on Ange, because that's individual moments. Romero running forward against Newcastle and not tracking back cost us the goal, cost us the game. Spurs being really wasteful that first game of the season against Leicester. The Newcastle game, I didn't feel like, at home the other day, I didn't feel like Spurs really in terms of the performance levels, deserve to lose that. I would say that any team, if you have a look around at whether it's Arsenal or Chelsea or United last season, injuries will affect you. And I know that we say we can't use that as an excuse, but Spurs have essentially been without their first choice centre-backs, goalkeeper for, well, really since October, pretty much. So if you look at Arsenal and you saw that they were missing Gabriel and Saliba, you would see a drop-off. We saw the drop-off when they were missing Odegaard. Obviously now they're missing Saka as well, and you'll see the drop-off with that. If I look at United last season, they were ravaged by injuries, still managed to finish 8th and with an FA Cup. By United standards, that's not okay, but at the same time, they had a trophy to show for it. So Spurs could be in a similar situation. I think they're currently 11th or 12th in the table. My eyes have always been firmly on the cups this season. Do I want to finish bottom half? No. But if that means that Spurs win a trophy, may I even dare to dream they could win 2 trophies? Maybe they could win a European trophy? Who knows? But I would absolutely take that all day long. Not a question about it, because Spurs, for me, they have to win a trophy. Ange said he wins trophies in his second season. I know people will laugh at that. They'll talk about the J-League or the Australian League, or they'll talk about Celtic. But these are the places that he has managed. So he can only win where he's managed, right? I'm not saying that Spurs are going to, go through second leg. It's away at Anfield. It's a tough ask. It's tough when you've got a fully fit, fully strength side. What I feel could happen, and hopefully will happen, is by the time that we have that in a month, on the 8th of Feb, Mickey van der Ven will be back, Romero will be back. So that's already given us some strength. I don't know what else we're going to do in the January transfer market. Obviously, we've signed Kinski already, which is and was really important to sign a good goalkeeper. Whether he is going to be our number 1 or number 2 remains to be seen. But just having your first choice centre-backs back is huge going into that game. Maybe that means that we see Archie Gray go in his natural position in midfield. But I'm not ruling it out completely that we can go and get something there. It's a tough place for us to go. It's never been a happy hunting ground for us either. But I do genuinely feel like we're so close to get into a final, and then it's likely obviously going to be Newcastle unless Arsenal do something brilliant at St James's Park. But this is a big moment for Spurs, and I've always felt that if they can just get themselves over the line in a final, it will just change everything in terms of the mentality of the club. Won one trophy since, in 2008. It's like 16, 17 years ago. So am I pinning all my hopes on this? A little bit, and rightly so. I should be happy today because we won a game for the first time in a long time. But the pattern I'm seeing is that Spurs are capable, when either everyone is fully fit or on their day, that they can beat anyone. If I have a look at the last 5 wins for Spurs, Liverpool, City, United, Villa, and then Southampton in there. But Spurs have been good when they're good. And that's why I will always back Ange, because I see that there is enough progress, and I see that the players are still buying into what he's selling. I've seen Spurs teams lay it all down and be like, nope, I'm not fighting for the manager, tools down, we're done. And I don't see this in this team. I think the problem, obviously, where we're so light in terms of the squad depth and obviously the injuries as well, it means that obviously the same players are playing every 3 days. So he's rotating Kulusevski sometimes and Maddison, and lots of people say, well, why isn't Maddison starting? But when Kulusevski has been so good in the 10, he's a stronger character than Maddison. And for me, Maddison is sometimes a little bit of a luxury player. I do really like him, but I think that Kulusevski has really taken that 10 position and owned it. So if you can play him with Maddison, it sometimes makes you a little bit lighter. But I think January is a big moment for Spurs. Obviously, on the left, you still have Son. They've given him a contract extension. And I absolutely love Son. He's a hero of our club. He's a legend. And would I love more than anything to see him lift a trophy? Of course I would. I didn't get to see it with Harry Kane. I didn't get to see it with Jan Vertonghen, Toby Alderweireld, Moussa Dembele. But I can potentially still see that with Sonny. And I think that he deserves it so much. I think as fans, obviously we deserve it. We've been starving for a trophy for God knows how long. And it would just be a really nice coming to the end of his career and time at Spurs, if he can do that, just win something. But I think in terms of the left, you need to have a contingency plan in place for Son, because he's not the player that he was. Obviously, you've got Brennan Johnson, who's maybe just, he's a nice player. He's a nice player. And yeah, the trademark, late run into the box, back post, he does pop up, he does contribute. But I feel like Spurs maybe are light in terms of the actual quality that they have up front. So left wing, big area Spurs need to look at. Right wing, I'd say that we could potentially upgrade, but we probably won't do that until the summer. And I've always said in terms of midfield, I want to see Archie Gray there. I want to see Lucas Bergvall there as well. You've got Sarr. I think that's probably the 3 that I fancy the most. Basuma had a good game against Liverpool, but I just feel like the levels of Basuma aren't aren't what Spurs need. It's not consistent enough, and I've said that for a long time. Started the season really well last year, but it only lasted for about 7-8 games, and then the drop-off was huge. So I think that's still an area. I said it in the summer, and I say it again now, that a 6 proper DM that cleans up, helps out the back line as well, that's what's needed. And obviously a defender, because when you've got Mickey out for long periods of time, Romero's been out for long periods of time, Dragusin's your third choice, Ben Davies is technically the fourth choice as well, but Ben Davies has been at the club for 11 years. You know, he shouldn't really be there, as shouldn't Fraser Forster. So Fraser Forster will leave probably end of the season. Need to get another centre back, or I guess cover for left back. But you can have Jed Spence there. But there's definitely areas that Spurs still need to strengthen. But I feel like in terms of the spine is there. I can see what they're doing, and I like what I'm seeing. So I'm happy. This has been a good diary entry, hasn't it? I'm happy today. I'm buzzing. I'm chipper. And I just really hope that I can sit here on the 9th of February and tell you that Spurs will be in the final of the Carabao Cup. Love you, bye.